Hello everyone and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Halleck. This week, the push to get passenger rail service rolling once again through the Adirondacks to Plattsburgh and Montreal. When the COVID-19 pandemic shut down the northern border to all but essential travel, freight trains kept on running, but passenger rail service was suspended. Amtrak's Adirondack that links New York City to Montreal hasn't passed through here in 2.5 years. All of Amtrak's routes across the country that cross into Canada have reopened and are running once again, except for this one. And that's why the voices are growing louder now here in the North Country for Amtrak to get this route back up and running.
We cannot accept and will not accept that this area in our line is the last remaining one yet to restart after the pandemic.
For years, Amtrak's Adirondack line has been a tourism staple, offering a slower ride through the scenic Adirondack Mountains and along the shore of Lake Champlain, connecting the Big Apple to Quebec's largest city.
They've restarted a service to Toronto and Western New York, so excuse me, there's no impediments at the border. If you can restart that one, you can restart this one. We hear Amtrak muttering about staffing shortages and other things. Well, you know, again, sorry, we're a priority too. If you can do it elsewhere, we don't get to be stuck last on the list until you get around to it.
The train is vital to many. Catherine Hernandez says it has been her main source of transportation as a college student attending Plattsburgh and now as a permanent Plattsburgh resident living downtown. She says she uses the train to travel to Albany to see her family. Hernandez loved the ride because it allowed her time to get work done while traveling, so she could enjoy her time with her family. She says other options, like renting a car, cost a lot more.
Seeing my family has been more difficult. I usually used to go down about 4, maybe 5 times a year to go visit. Now it's 1, maybe 2 times.
Looking at the numbers from 2019, the year before the pandemic started, more than 117,000 people rode the Adirondack, and more than 13,000 of them hopped on the train at the station in Plattsburgh.
We are looking forward to restoring that service at some point. We still hear Canadian travelers taking the bus down to the airport rather than taking the train down from Montreal. So, you know, one of those things is it is a nice alternative form of transportation, especially if people from here in Plattsburgh want to travel down to New York City. It's a nice, easy train ride, and it's relatively inexpensive. The more people we can bring to our city and the more people we can bring as tourists or people who want to travel locally that want to travel south, that is a viable option that's not available right now, and it's very limiting for our city.
Some have raised concerns about Amtrak's new Ethan Allen Express service to Burlington, which begins next week. Gary Douglas says it's likely the ultimate aim is to expand that route on to Montreal.
Which only makes it all the more important for us to conserve and protect our service as still the one and therefore dominant connection between New York and Montreal.
Senators Chuck Schumer and Kirsten Gillibrand last week sent a letter to Amtrak asking for a timeline and what steps are being taken to ensure the service returns, and to ask what Congress can do to speed up the process.